Welcome to another edition of the Front Row Roundtable Show presented by Ralphie's. Thanks for being here. We're going to talk a lot of sports, a lot of NFL here coming up in just a second. Big John Malkowski, Marty Bin, back with us once again.
And?
How are you?
On borrowed time, apparently. This is 2 weeks in a row. You made it sound like we're shocking him still here.
No.
My poll ratings must be down. Part of a Florida recount. I don't know what's going on.
Wow. So did you get Bambi?
Better than that. Better than no. Listen, this is as a parent, so you know that whatever
My
you
dad was a hunter. Okay, so
but
before
whatever you do in
email
life, it's better when your son does even better
absolutely.
than you. So my youngest got a really nice buck. And there's a whole story that goes with that, but let's just say at one point in time he was sure he A, didn't hit it, and B, had hit himself in the face with a scope. And if you want to know how the demeanor of a 16-year-old young man can change in 30 seconds, the I don't think I got it, I got hit in the face, teared up look versus the, I got it. They were two different human beings. It was almost a whole new person had gotten there. And so he got one and it was great. And it was Veterans Day weekend. We had 2 active duty veterans with us who had to get leave passes to go, and 2 retired veterans, and that makes it all the sweeter in all family. Nice. And that's the greatest part of that. And there's no internet, so you actually have to do crazy things like interact with each other, play cards, tell stories, many of which are containing partial truths and so on. It's an awesome time.
Because I was going to text you when Des Bryant blew out his Achilles, but I figured you probably wouldn't get it anyway.
No, wouldn't have got it. Didn't even know that till you just told me. Thank you for telling me.
You serious?
No, I did not
know that.
No.
Oh yeah, he didn't practice, so I never played. I got to catch you up. Gosh.
Yeah.
I caught a bunch. You got to catch everybody else up.
Well, I caught a bunch of things, but I didn't have time for Dez's Achilles in a game he didn't play.
All right. What we can do is be the first ones to dive into Ohio State Michigan week. So, now with the games done on Saturday here, yes. And we're assuming that Michigan beat Indiana and Ohio State beat Maryland.
So John, you may not know this story, but one of the first interactions Norm and I ever had on his radio show involved the following. It was the year Ohio State was up top and Michigan was there, and West Virginia was kind of the spoiler, and there was all this talk of the playoff and all that. And I called Norm one day and I said, Norm, what I really, really want is like the good old days. I'm not the Michigan hater, and I think I've told you this. I want Michigan to win all the way in. Yep. And then I want Ohio State to upset them on a horrible call by the officials, like the Curtis Samuel, Chris Wormley tackle from a couple years ago. And I want you.
JT was short.
And I don't care. And I want you. And I want it to hurt. And I want you to remember it for a very long time, because the Cooper years to me were so painful for so long that I want it to hurt. I want your hopes to be dashed, and this year sets up perfectly for my Buckeye
agenda. It'd be better
agenda.
if Michigan was undefeated.
It doesn't matter. It would be better, but it's still going to be very sweet if it happens, because I really just dislike Michigan enough. not the rest of the year, but for all those Cooper years that I lived through at the prime of my football cheering insanity.
10-2 or 2-10, and from your
2-10-1
perspective, yes.
I don't know. It seemed like
and the tie was the biggest win in Ohio State history.
And it seemed like, and one of those, I mean, it just seemed like every time Ohio State was right on the verge of, national championship contention or something else, Shumanga Biaka Batuka would roll up. Did I say that right? Okay.
Close enough.
I don't know. It seemed like he's still running to me. I mean, in my world, he's
Jeopardy. They would have given you a thumbs.
Okay, good. All right, I would have got that. Yes.
So, I'm an Ohio State fan. He's a Michigan fan. Marty hops on whichever side's doing well. He's in the middle, like everything else. Wink, wink.
I try not to get my hopes up because I have lived through the last 10 years of this rivalry.
Paybacks.
But 2 weeks ago, when I watched Ohio State, Michigan State, followed by Michigan and Rutgers, I mean, that's just night and day that these two teams are on different trajectories. Because Ohio State, Michigan State, I mean, that looked like 2 bad high school offenses trying to pillow fight each other because nobody could do anything.
Well, can we agree Michigan State's offense is awful?
Absolutely.
I mean, Michigan, they made them look bad, and they made Ohio State's defense look good. And I've watched a lot of Ohio State games this year. That's tough to do.
Ohio State's defense has had some troubles too. But
quite a few.
But that game, and the fact that Drew Chrisman did not win Special Teams Player of the Week after that is a crime from the Big Ten. But anyway.
He had, what, 5 punts inside the 7?
Yes. But the kicker from Indiana kicked 1 field goal and gets Special Teams Player of the Week. But yeah, I'm optimistic going into this game next week. But I always have that in the back of my mind that, it is in Columbus especially. You're going to have 100,000 Ohio State fans all dressed in red cheering against you, and I don't know. I will be happy when it's over.
As an Ohio State fan, I think it's fun for once to be the underdog. I think it's great.
Playing the role of spoiler
got nothing to lose.
Instead of the, oh boy, here we go. It's a rivalry game. Anything can happen.
Because even if Ohio State wins that game, wins the Big Ten, they're not going to the playoffs.
No.
It's not going to happen. So there's really nothing to lose. They're probably going to go to the Rose Bowl regardless of what happens.
Probably, because the Rose Bowl is not going to take Northwestern. Not with 0-3 non-conference.
Nope.
Not going to happen.
They won't.
There's no way.
It's probably Washington State and Ohio State in the Rose Bowl regardless of what happens.
Okay. Well, thanks for making it even.
But it is in Columbus, and as any rivalry, you can kind of throw the stats out the window.
Buckeye fans will hope somehow that they would back into the playoff if they win both games. And I'd like to tell all of them, please stop. Don't text me, tweet me, email me, don't Facebook message me. Don't tell me the scenarios under which you think that's justified or rational. I've watched the games this year, not a playoff game.
I was texting with a friend of mine during the Ohio State-Michigan State game, a big Buckeye, actually, grad. And I said, if this team would be that number 4 team and have to play Alabama, they'd have like negative 50 total yards with that offense. And it would probably be the same as the point spread, about 50 points.
Here's the thing. Two years ago
they're not moving.
Yeah, 2 years ago on vacation, I was concerned going into the Clemson game, but I was on vacation and took time out of a vacation in Puerto Rico to go find a cable TV and took the entire night off on New Year's to watch that. And I assure you, this year, there will be no efforts to find a TV.
A good friend of mine who lives in Florida texted me during the Ohio State-Michigan State game and basically asking what the heck's going on here. And I said, it's the whole Big Ten. The whole Big Ten's not very good. I mean, take a look at Michigan's the best of the Big Ten as we look at it, but Northwestern's going to win the other division. And everybody's down. Wisconsin's down, and Penn State's down, and Michigan State's down. And
as a Big Ten supporter, I don't know, and I say this not as a detrimental comment about Michigan, I'm not sure we know much about Michigan. Because other than the tale of 2 different halves of the Notre Dame game, which were really 2 different teams, I think everyone said, well, they figured out the second half, they came back, and the offense has been better. But what's the competition been since that game? Because it's pretty mediocre. In retrospect, I mean, looking back, as the games came, it didn't look as bad as it does now. But in retrospect, neither of them's played anybody.
No. The Big Ten has really fallen, which is really sad from where they were, especially preseason rankings, which, again, think what you want about preseason rankings, but
I have one word for preseason rankings here: Wisconsin.
And I want to see if Ohio State will start interchanging quarterbacks like they did with Leak and Tebow. All right, let's take a time out. We'll come back. We'll start talking a whole bunch of NFL, including the Lions, and whether the Browns has pushed Marty a little closer to cutting his own grass. That comes your way next here on the Front Row Roundtable show presented by Ralphie's.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's.
At Ralphie's, it's primetime football every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday nights. Enjoy endless wings starting at 8 p.m. each night and carry-out specials every day. Plus special pricing on all Labatt products, plus new craft and IPAs for the fall. As always, beer buckets only $10 Friday and Saturday.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good.
Mortgage Marty here. We hear every day here at Fairway how tight the housing market is, how there's just so few great homes out there. And I want to remind everybody we have a fantastic suite of renovation products. They are basically designed where you can buy a house, borrow extra money over and above the sale price, get contractors lined up, and we pay them after closing. So the work is done after closing. You get to pick who you're going to use, and you can buy that house, fix it up, and create what you want. With as tight as the market is right now, in fact, I have probably a half a dozen customers who are to the point where they're so frustrated they're about to give up. So just think renovation loan.
It's Notorious November as Powerbomb Wrestling is back in action in Toledo on Sunday, November the 25th, 5 p.m. at St. Clements Hall, 2990 Tremainsville Road. Former friends, former tag partners, the amazing Nate Madsen and the Bachelor Ben Boone battle for the PBW World Championship. 3 more title matches on the card, including you'll see Madman Fulton and Queen Aminata. It comes your way Sunday, November the 25th, St. Clements Hall. It's Powerbomb Wrestling. And back we are, the Front Row Roundtable Show presented by Ralphie's. Don't forget all-you-can-eat wing specials for the primetime NFL games Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday nights at all the area Ralphie's, and also half-priced appetizers after 9. All right, let's dive into Week 10 of the NFL season, which Marty didn't see any of it.
But I have seen part of it since I've been back. Through the genius of recording, you can watch an entire NFL game in a lot less time than you could ever watch it live.
Yeah.
And since you mentioned that Dallas was circling the bowl, then they go out and they beat Philadelphia.
So their goal every year is to finish exactly dead in the middle, because you called me in the middle, which is to be in perpetual NFL purgatory, right? Yep. Not good enough to win a playoff game, not bad enough to stink, bad enough to get draft picks and fire your coach and do all the things necessary to change the dynamic. So you just languish there in frustration land. I would like to slam my head in the door rather than endure 5 more seasons.
All right, one team got just a little closer to having you cut your own grass all summer.
Yeah, and Marty won't even tell us what the other side of that bet is.
It's not cheap. That's all I'm going to say. And I did get a little nervous as I was driving home after deer hunting and saw the scores on my phone.
What if they end up like 6-9-1? Is the one like a half win? So it's really 6.5.
I don't know that was part of the wager. So like happens in Vegas, that'll be a push, isn't it? Right? The house keeps everything, or no one wins anything. No one wins anything. We're going to go with that.
Well, you get your bet back.
Okay, that's excellent. If it's that close, I'll take it.
Minus
whatever the
big.
house takes.
So this is a question. Is it the reaction to not having the coaches around, or does coaching make that much difference? I offer that as a floor question.
In what sense?
In 1 week, you change with the Browns. You change your dynamic, and all of a sudden you look like a different team.
I don't think Atlanta showed up. First of all,
a little chilly, they packed it in,
and Mayfield played terrific. I told everybody about that last week.
Yeah, Atlanta's offense is awful. I mean, I do think it comes with a different mindset. Greg Williams is more of a not a player's coach. He's more of a hard-nosed guy. And they have talent. I mean, they've been in a lot of these games, even their losses and their tie. They, if they had a kicker, they probably got 5 wins already.
I thought Mayfield made better decisions than Matt Ryan did in that game.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the number 1 overall pick of Baker Mayfield, but I think he's played a lot better than I would have expected.
Actually, what drove me partially nuts was I played Ito Smith, who's the goal line guy for Atlanta, and 6 times they were at the goal line and didn't bring him in the game, and they got stuffed both possessions. 6 plays, I should say, 2 possessions or at the goal line, and didn't bring it. He had scored touchdowns in 4 of his last 5 games. I don't know what they're doing in Atlanta. I mean, they should have lost that game the way they played it.
The only year they were really good was when Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator. He left, and now they're back to mediocre.
That offense looked unstoppable that year, and he's gone, and it looks
and now
unwatchable.
And now Kyle Mullins or Matt Mullins or whatever the guy's name is leading the 49ers to do a decent offense with Kyle Shanahan. So, yes, back to your point, yes, coaching makes that big of a difference.
And is Carlos Hyde going to be the answer to the Nick Chubb trivia question?
Shifting, Matt Stafford looked great once they fell down 26 points. It's like clockwork. The trains never late.
The only reason I'm hesitating is because every week I jump right on this bandwagon with both feet and an extra emphasis. And apparently I've alienated enough Lions fans that now they're sending me some of the normal snarky Browns texts on Saturday night. So I was trying to think of a measured response. And no, you're absolutely right. It's ridiculous how much money they paid somebody.
The special teams played better. Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They fired the special teams coach and made all the difference in the world.
And who was that Mac guy?
Yeah, he had a couple sacks, and I don't know where he came from.
They kept pulling off the quarterback throughout the game.
What wasn't he the guy who was who changed later after each snap into Matt Stafford after he got up? He was Khalil Mack while the play was live, and Matt Stafford when the play was dead, because that's what was it draped all over him.
Reason why you should never bet football is Buffalo and the Jets.
Yeah.
In New York, Buffalo won 41-10. I didn't think Buffalo was going to score 41 points the rest of the season.
Starting Matt Barkley as a quarterback who was bagging groceries like a week and a half ago.
That's like a thing they do now, though. They're looking for the next Kurt Warner. So they're just going out and grabbing anyone.
But they did finally waive Nathan Peterman, so we'll have
the
to.
The GoFundMe page was successful
yeah,
in that.
The $117 or whatever that it raised.
His Redskins won. Which was a thrill a minute, 16-3.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny
that Tampa Bay offense.
I think we can call it the NFC least this year. Can we as rival fans agree that division stinks?
The Redskins have yet to have a lead change in any of their games.
That sounds
They're 6-3.
really boring.
Every win, they haven't been behind, and the 3 losses, they never led.
Well, yeah, Norm and I were out at Ralphie's. The Redskins kicked a field goal in the middle of the first quarter. I said, game over. Redskins win.
Winner, chicken dinner. Okay.
And that important game on Monday night, the Giants and the 49ers, it actually was important because the Giants got their second win, and that left the Raiders alone as just having one loss.
Draft pick.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. Let me know how that works out.
Well, I'd rather have the first pick than the second pick.
Yeah, you can screw up number 1 just as bad as you can screw up number 2. So.
Yes, Jamarcus, I know.
It's a different regime. Al Davis was still alive back then. You know that, right? That's how long ago that was.
I understand. I'm just saying it doesn't look that different right now.
Well, everybody's hurt. First of all.
Okay.
Well, it's true.
This is the first time all year I've heard you even kick it signs of life. So now that we're playing for the first, now that the process is fully enacted, now we're going to celebrate the process.
What's your point?
It's
celebrate
good.
something. I'm not jumping bandwagon like other people do when their team stinks. I don't do that.
I don't jump bandwagon. I just gripe a lot.
I didn't say you did.
All right.
I didn't say
Let's
that.
move on to that. Last week's football was not that great.
Well, it depends. We're going to have fun no matter what.
I didn't mean that. I think the matchup, we talked about this. The matchups weren't that good, and the outcomes were.
Well, that Saints Bengals game that I pointed out last week as being one of the top games of the 1 o'clock day was.
So the it's headed toward the end of the season, and the Bengals are folding up the tents because they're headed for that first round exit again.
Getting Marvin Lewis that 3-year contract.
I don't think the Bengals are going to make it by that time. All right, let's take another time out, and we'll come back and we'll take a look at Week 11 of the NFL season. All the games tomorrow on Monday nights. It's the Front Row Roundtable show presented by Ralphie's.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good.
At Ralphie's, it's primetime football every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday nights. Enjoy endless wings starting at 8 p.m. each night and carry-out specials every day. Plus special pricing on all Labatt products, plus new craft and IPAs for the fall. As always, beer buckets only $10 Friday and Saturday.
Bring yourself to Ralphie's. Yeah, it's that good.
Mortgage Marty here. We hear every day here at Fairway how tight the housing market is, how there's just so few great homes out there. And I want to remind everybody we have a fantastic suite of renovation products. They are basically designed where you can buy a house, borrow extra money over and above the sale price, get contractors lined up, and we pay them after closing. So the work is done after closing. You get to pick who you're going to use, and you can buy that house, fix it up, and create what you want. With as tight as the market is right now, in fact, I have probably a half a dozen customers who are to the point where they're so frustrated they're about to give up. So just think renovation loan.
It's Notorious November as Powerbomb Wrestling is back in action in Toledo on Sunday, November the 25th, 5 p.m. at St. Clemens Hall, 2990 Tremainsville Road. Former friends, former tag partners, the Amazing Nate Madsen and the Bachelor Ben Boone battle for the PBW World Championship. 3 more title matches on the card, including you'll see Madman Fulton and Queen Aminata. It comes your way Sunday, November the 25th, St. Clemens Hall. It's Powerbomb Wrestling. back for our Roundtable show presented by Ralphie's. Week 11 in the NFL season. And, of course, Green Bay, Seattle was on Thursday night. But I think a pretty good slate of Sunday NFL coming up. Let's take a look at some of these. I think the game at 1 o'clock is probably Houston at Washington. Two division leaders, both 6-3.
So instead of last guy with the ball wins, it's first one to score wins? All right.
Maybe two of the weaker division leaders, too. I mean, they're both number 1 teams, but...
Oof. Correct.
Well, it'd either be them or Chicago.
Any of the above. All the above. Look, there's 1 and there's not 1A or 1B. There's like 3A, and then there's a whole bunch of mediocre below that.
Texans have won 6 in a row, though. I think that's impressive.
They've also
Some of that's been against
some luck
and some shaky
bad
competition.
teams.
Thank you.
Well,
Yes.
it always is if you win 6 in a row. It's hard to win 6 in a row in the NFL.
Well, not for the Saints.
Rams, Chiefs. Continue on.
It's hard to win 6 in a row in the NFL.
Fine. Well, we don't agree, but that's okay.
How many teams have won 6 in a row in the NFL this year?
I don't know, not that many, but with that schedule and what they've had, it just doesn't seem that impressive to me. It's like when Wisconsin wins 6 in a row in that division in the Big Ten.
It's like
I'm not that
6 in a row
impressed.
is a negative or something.
I didn't say it's a negative. I'm just not that particularly impressed by it. We were saying mediocre, and you were saying, well, they won 6 in a row. Okay, well, fine. I still think they're mediocre.
Yeah, they also lost 3 in a row to start. So.
I don't think there's a whole lot of gaps. I don't think there's a whole lot of difference between teams in the NFL. I think most teams can bite up and jump up and bite somebody any week. Lions beat New England.
It's inexplicable. Still very hard to understand.
That's what I'm saying. There's not that big a difference
Didn't they beat the Saints
as people think.
Who else did they beat that was it's good? Lions fans, please text me and clear this up for me. All right, let's move on to this.
Anything can happen on a given week. Dallas won last week.
Yeah.
Yes, which makes me angry.
And the Eagles now are
Other than Zeke Elliott re-winning the hurdle championship, which was cool to watch. Oh, come on, it's cool to watch.
Detroit, as it all gets Carolina, who can't be happy about getting blown out by Pittsburgh.
No, but when Carolina goes on the road, they're a totally different team than when they play at home.
See, Pittsburgh looks as good as anybody now.
Yeah.
They're at Jacksonville.
Le'Veon Bell's officially not happy about the entire situation. He's now not going to play it down.
And he hasn't reported, so
he's done.
He's not coming back.
He's done.
He can't play this year.
Correct.
Little different Pittsburgh team now than we saw against the Browns early in the season.
Oh, a lot different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You know, this all may look different in another 6 weeks. That's all I'm saying. Let's see here.
I'll take the under on that.
What?
That it's not going to. I think we know the 6 or 7 teams that have any chance at all, and I think that's not changing.
Injuries are such a big part of the NFL.
The Vikings are sitting
like an Aaron Rodgers injury a few years ago. Okay, I'll give you that.
The Vikings are sitting at 5-3-1. Wouldn't surprise me if they went on a run.
It would me.
Why?
I think there's
Mr. Contrary in it.
no.
I
think the chemistry that was there
Kansas
last
City's
year.
9-1. No, they're not.
No, I think Kansas City has a chance. I think Mahomes in the playoffs is a bit of a risk. But it's an unknown factor. So, if you had to pick at this point, you got to say Pittsburgh or the Patriots, and there they are again, the dang Patriots backing their way into another bid.
I know, but nobody was thinking Pittsburgh 6 weeks ago.
I wasn't writing them off 6 weeks ago, and I'm still not on the Pittsburgh bandwagon. I think their defense still has a lot of questions.
But Dallas will make a run.
Oh, God, please, no, don't. Come on.
Make a run to 500. 8-8.
Oh, no, 9-7, and then all the Cowboy fans I know, oh, what do you think? I just think we're still awful.
The Browns have a bye.
Woohoo! Which means they're still not on TV, so.
Wow. And let's just say it was not packed with Browns fans.
No, I was shocked. I was shocked last week.
Which apparently they went, 2-6-1. I guess I'm not going out.
Well, and they keep winning the games that aren't on local TV, so Browns fans should want them off local TV.
I mean, so and then you got the Cavs are awful and the Indians are sellers. So, I mean, what do you have? Hopefully the Cleveland State Vikings are talented and can upset Indiana in the first round of the NCAA again.
Lake Erie Monsters in the AHL, or
I'm surprised at Baltimore's demise. I really am.
I have 2 words for that, Joe
We're sitting at
Flacco.
4-5. We'll see if they start Jackson or not.
Joe Flacco.
tomorrow.
I don't know if Jackson's ready to start.
Flacco did win a Super Bowl.
Well,
Yeah, so did
the defense won a Super Bowl.
So did wait a minute, who was the other quarterback?
Rypien,
No, the other one there who
I love Mark
parlayed that
Rypien.
into a
Trent Dilfer.
Thank you, Trent Dilfer.
I thought Mark Rypien was fantastic.
You're entitled to your opinion, even when you're wrong. Jeff Hostetler.
Which you wouldn't know the difference. Gosh. Who's with you today?
Well, Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. Okay? Yeah. So has Mark Rypien.
yeah.
So has Trent Dilfer.
Well, you can go back 30 years and pick a couple of
Peyton
things
Manning
too.
couldn't throw a ball out of a wet paper bag and won one.
Yeah.
He did win one, but he didn't win the other one.
Well, the stupidest
I understand
comment,
he gets 2 rings.
The stupidest comment I heard was on Monday Night Football when one of the guys, I don't remember which one, said that Eli Manning had not won a playoff game except the 2 runs to the Super Bowl. It's like, well, you can't do that.
So unless he's going to win the Super Bowl, he's not going to win a playoff game. Okay. Hey, as a Cowboys fan, I'd take that.
It's a fact. The only years he's won playoff games are the years they won it all.
So anyway, the 4 o'clock, the best 4 o'clock game is probably.
And I'm sure that was Jason Witten because that wouldn't have been Tessitore.
No, but it could have been Booger.
Oh, well, that's true.
Gosh. Philadelphia and Booger McFarland. That's what he calls himself. I
got
didn't do it.
Not Booger from
Philadelphia and New
Revenge of the
Orleans.
Nerds.
I think is probably the best game at 4. For Philadelphia, they're 4-5. They lose that game, they drop to 4-6. They're in a ton of trouble.
That's must win.
Yeah.
And that's not good when you're a must win. And they had three cornerbacks get hurt last week, and now you got to play Drew Brees. That's not a good.
And a team that's headed towards salary cap issues after the season, and I wonder how quickly that clubhouse and that locker room is going to change and become unmanageable because there's a lot of money due and a lot of decisions got to be made. And boy,
See, you didn't have to go back to Trent Dilfer. You could just say Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. Sunday night game, terrific. Minnesota at Chicago.
That will be one to watch, yeah.
I'll be watching.
And meaningful because it's the 2 top teams in the Norris division. So
But for once, the best game is on Monday night. Kansas City at the Rams. 2 9-1 teams. Take the over.
Beat me to that! Darn you! I'll tell you what. That's back-to-back really entertaining primetime games, and the NFL, the way the last couple weeks schedule's gone, they needed that because I think 2 really good.
after Giants 49ers on Monday night,
and then 49ers, whoever the Thursday night. There have been some clunker primetime games in the last couple weeks, and these 2 are. And the Thursday night. I mean, think about it. They nailed all 3 primetime games this week.
I think the teams playing the best right now are New Orleans and Pittsburgh. So,
And a whole lot of people were saying that about Carolina a week ago.
all right, we got to run. Powerbomb Wrestling coming your way at 2 a.m. You can't catch it there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Norm Waymer YouTube channel, or check it out on Fight.tv. For Marty, for Big John, I'm Norm. We'll see you next week on the Front Row Roundtable Show, presented by Ralphie's.